So in this episode of Retro Roboland, I'm actually going to build a retro robot. Been promising to do it for a while. This is what it looks like at the end. But first let's head down to Menu Studio and I'll show you about the drawings. I always start with drawings. Progression of drawings at this point, I started with a torso that kind of looked like this with edges like that. Then I thought, well, the head, I wanted a camera. That made most sense. I tried some other things before that, and the see-through torso. This was a couple of pieces for development of the torso, including the head. The pose, sitting there eating cafe food. I did front and side, and in proportion, that I'll come back to and base a lot on. Just working some details on the arms and here, some steampunky elements, and the head, the camera itself, trying to humanize it a little bit more. So this is the first thing I built, this chair, and I made an ASMR video. I'll leave the link to that with all the sounds, helps you sleep, maybe. This is the torso. The top of that is a deodorant bottle, and I'm making all the different parts with styrene and balsa wood, which is part of my kind of modelling method, so to speak. That's what the legs look like, kind of just testing them out on my little mini chair. And I glue on some little bolts and stuff like that. The premise behind this thing is as if, well, it's like a 1940s alternative reality where this female robot works in a factory. I made the feet here out of bits of balsa wood in situ, and in the torso from a piece of foam. Just drilled through the middle of that and then stuck on some pivots made out from push pins. What you're looking at here is a piece of this kind of curtain material that I got that I found really flexible and cool, just for the plates that went onto the legs. That's them drying there. Quite like the look. I used a hot glue gun for the first time, which I found kind of cool. You could get things stuck down in a way that worked, although it was a bit messy around the edges, and put on little bits of plastic kit onto the legs. Kit bashing, I think that's the term. Doing a kit bash challenge straight after this, and these are little diamantes, I think they're called, as rivets. I quite like those, and that's the leg kind of done. Again, hot glue gun, putting it all together. I actually stuck the legs all together in situ. This is the hot new toy. When I was a kid, didn't have a lot of toys. Look at me now, an adult. I've got a super hot laser cutter. It's not a laser, it's a super hot piece of wire that cuts through the foam. I just love this. It's a birthday present to myself. Listen to that. Sounds like a lightsaber. Yeah, I probably didn't need to use it, but I cut this foam up and put it inside a box. This is the base. I didn't need to use that at all, but it's fun, and I like fun. Leave a comment if you like fun toys, or not. This is balsa wood going down as the wooden floor, and then again went to the vise. This is my workshop, and cut down the table legs. Kind of made a frame. You'll see it here. Hot glue gun again of the table, and then just glued down the top. The way I did this is based on a picture of myself. I'm just making the tablecloth from Mod Podge dipped into tissue paper. It sits nicely, kind of gave the form I want. The ankles, this is a epoxy putty, milliput, just to give them a kind of like a metal base they would pivot inside. Also on the knees. I did the torso as well off camera. It's kind of cool. And then just now from the aerial shot, I'm just putting the torso in. I wanted the torso you could kind of see through it. It's kind of cool. The lore here is that this is like a 90s 40 alternative where the workers work in a factory, like building Spitfires or something, these robots that ran out of labour. Just putting the torso together here now with a hot glue gun. Look at that shot. Just slightly out of focus, but it pivots actually. What I found when I put this together was that it drooped. I had to glue it in place because it did fully pivot around that point, and then I glued it in place with a drill, obviously. And that's kind of cool. So then again, the arms I made like the legs, all with braces and pivots and little bits and pieces, all stuck together, and of course the diamante as the rivets. Rivets are what we like to do in a steampunky kind of style. The hands, I use this kind of necklace thing I had when I was a kid at the beach. Based it on my own hands, and I made all the knuckles out of these, like a kind of flexible hand thing. Again, super hot laser cutter here, using it to cut the head. Now it cuts in a circle, which is kind of cool, and super fast speed. Then I cut it all up and cut it to the right length, and then you'll see me in a moment. Gee, I had fun with this stuff. Yeah, just glued onto the curtain type stuff with this flexible material, all the different bits and pieces, and kind of cut a framework out of it using all these bits and pieces. So I mean, I could have done this a number of ways, could have used balsa wood or all sorts of bits and pieces, but there you see the head is kind of formed through the foam cut and this sort of material that I've got from a blind that didn't work in our house. So that's kind of cool. That's the picture of the camera that the head is sort of semi-based on. I found some little widgets for like the 3 lens eyes, and the wire is going to be like the copper framing. Then I glued everything all together using the hot glue gun, so it's all in place. Then that's what it looks like here. Sort of at some point made a female form because the hips were really wide, and I thought, well, yeah, why not? Here's the Zemafil highlights that I put down with black and grey, and the airbrush. Again, another super cool toy that I just love to play. You can paint with a paintbrush, but man, compressed air, oh, well, that's fun. So there, that's all green, and then I did use a paintbrush for some little kind of shipping effects that I toned down a bit later. The hair, well, it's a Potscara, but I kind of like it. She's going to have metal hair. She eats metal, that's the idea. She's eating a meal of metal. So that was that. Here's the finished pics. Finally, I think that turned out really well. It's a cartoony look. That wasn't the original intention, but it drifted that way, and I think it worked. Let me know in the comments if you did too. Next up, as I said, there's going to be a kit bash challenge, which I'll tell you all about. Go and have a look over on Instagram. I've got a channel there. There's also more images of this. Thanks for watching Retro Roboland. Click like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye bye.